But anyway, let's talk about some Nerd News Network, baby. Oh,
Yes.
that's another thing we can do in the next 50 episodes.
Get a
You
jingle.
can make a fucking jingle for the Nerd News
I'm
Network.
just going to go on Fiverr and get someone to do it on Fiverr. Fiverr, do you want to sponsor us?
Hey, that'd be sick.
Sponsor us and we'll use Fiverr to make a jingle for Nerd News Now.
That'd be a good video as well. I used Fiverr to make my podcast lit. Rumors that Doctor Strange 3 could be getting fast-tracked. I have no idea what that fucking means in the sense of everything seems to be timed out pretty well. Have they started looking at the script for Doctor Strange 3 and gone, oh, that fits better here, so we need to do it a bit faster? Or do they just know that it's going to take a lot of production and therefore they're fast-tracking to the point of starting to film it so that they can have more time making it look beautiful?
Possibly. Part of me feels like I'd like to think they're being nice and giving production more time, but this is Disney. I don't know if they spend more money on production just for the sake of more time, because time is money. But I wouldn't be surprised if in doing the script and with like Ant-Man and clearly Loki season 2 is already written, and like some of the things that are going to happen in there, they're like, actually it'd be really good if this started to tie into, or like if something that's going on and set up actually ties in with Doctor Strange, and we kind of need actually Doctor Strange to be sooner then to make it feel better. I'm wondering if there's a bit of jigging around that they've changed their mind and gone, oh, actually we want Doctor Strange to be part of that little bit of storyline that's being set up, so like we're having to shift around a little bit. Or maybe they're bringing all the films forward and we're going to get them even quicker. Maybe everyone's being fast-tracked.
That's possible.
No, it's not possible. But every film gets shifted forward 6 months.
Yeah. The next big bit, and I have this as the last bit, but I'm not convinced that this is a genuine leak. I think this is a bullshit leak, but we're going to discuss it just in case it is true. But I'm almost certain it isn't.
I'm pretty certain it's just a very solid fan
attempt at trying to bait.
But maybe it's like a like this was a fan's thing, and like someone obviously just pulls offline and says it is the actual thing, sort of like.
But there was a leaked image of what was apparently James Gunn's plan for the first phase of the DCU. Some of it looks pretty believable, and then a lot of it doesn't. So we've got Superman Lost Son, which would make sense. He said he wants a young Superman. That could definitely work. Then Green Lantern, The Ring of Power. That could again be a brilliant film.
Yeah.
This next one is where they lose me. Teen Titans, The Judas Contract. The Judas Contract is a comic run arc that is probably the Teen Titans' most famous run. That is not something that is the first of a teen film. That is the end of a Teen Titans trilogy.
Yeah, see, I didn't know what Judas Contract was. Yeah, I presumed it was a specific comic.
Yeah, that is a very, very big comic for the Teen Titans. There is no way you can do right in one film, especially when you wouldn't have been introduced to any of the members of the Teen Titans in Superman or Green Lantern.
Yeah.
There's just no way you managed to do that right. That would have to have been like a phased end of phase 2 third Teen Titans film.
Yeah. I get you.
For that to have worked, which is why they've really lost me here. Then after that you have Green Arrow.
Yeah.
Which again could be very believable.
Yeah.
And then there was a Justice League film. I think it was Tower of Babel.
I can't remember. See,
I can't remember what it was called. Which is a relatively, apparently it's quite a good Justice League story. I'm not familiar with it, where Batman really gets to be a bit of a detective, and they have to deal with his contingency plans. But
Right.
if one of the big parts of that is him having contingency plans for the League, that again doesn't make sense to be the first
Needs some
Justice League
setup.
film.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you
So
know? Go on.
I just I like where this is going, and I could understand a Superman, Green Lantern, Teen Titan, Green Arrow, Justice League. I can see that.
Yes.
But the names of the Judas Contract and the Tower of Balboa, whatever it was, and my understanding of them stories doesn't line up.
Do you know what I think happened? Like, because like you say, Superman, Green Lantern, Teen Titans, Green Arrow, and then obviously Justice League. It's I think it's almost safe to assume whatever the film choice is, it's going to build up to some sort of Justice League film because that is
Hmm.
the same as doing MCU build up to Avengers. Like it just makes sense. It's just where
Yeah,
it's going to go. Um, I agree. The fact that then this Judas contract is like a big story, I don't think that makes sense. This idea then, if the Justice League one is like around a Batman that is more detective like, I think that is someone going, oh, the Batman we've just had, he's a very detective heavy. If James Gunn was to use him, it'll probably have to go more detective focused story. Oh, this one's a detective. Like, that's someone trying to fit the current The Batman film into it when that's not going to be
it
the case.
yeah, it feels
We
like
don't think.
a fan made slideshow, which has a very poor DC logo on it as well, because you can see the color change, which just also reeks of there's no way the CEO, not CEO, yes, he's the CEO of DC Films, um, would not have a proper quality image that can go over there. That it's
Yeah,
just not
they've
going to
got.
happen.
I'm sorry, but this he definitely has access to, and he will have a designer just chuck a deck together.
Yes.
Like,
And it wouldn't be that low quality. And they've definitely kind of, as they're taking a picture of it, shook their hand a little bit to make it look blurry, to make it look like a leak. But if we were to go Superman, Green Lantern, Teen Titans, Green Arrow, Justice League, I could back that.
yeah, I,
Teen
I,
Titans being that early is a touch weird, but I could back it.
yeah, I. Superman makes sense. He's mentioned that it's obviously going to be some sort of Superman start of him being young, Smallville esque style. We know
Yeah.
that's coming. I actually really like the idea of them trying to rebuild the perception of
Of
Green
Green Lantern.
Lantern.
Because Green Lantern's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and he's actually quite like he is a big DC character who unfortunately got shelved because of the mess of the
Fucking
previous.
the only thing that I will ever have against Ryan Reynolds and Tika Waititi is that they were both in that film. As much as they want to pretend they were in it, they
Well,
were culpable.
the only reason that I'm okay with them is because they understand what a mess it was and mean the shit out of it as
Oh
well.
yeah,
But
they
yeah,
hold their hands up that it was not
I
good.
I fully see James Gunn doing a Green Lantern film because he'll want to re-establish Green Lantern and get it like understands that he's a big character to need and use and needs that early re-establishment.
Also, bringing in the Green Lantern brings in all of the lanterns,
Oh
and
yeah,
the lanterns as a collective is that off the wall, lots of good stuff that James Gunn thrives on.
yeah. Um,
So I
I
wouldn't be surprised if he wants to
agree.
bring the
Teen
lanterns in nice and
Titans
early.
is maybe a bit early, but I guess it's also a way to kind of early on start setting up the young heroes. Um,
And also, it's a fun way to introduce Robin as Robin's own character before having a Batman involved.
yes, that's a good point. We could have a Robin, and that gives him a lot more freedom on where the like a Batman at what point he could bring in a Batman.
And also, with the way James Gunn does the Guardians of the Galaxy films and the Suicide Squad film, if he wants to take that kind of artistic approach to a Teen Titans film, it could be phenomenal.
Yeah, Green Arrow kind of makes it's that bit more ground level, like we
Yeah.
say, street level hero to add into the mix of things.
But yeah.
And
This
then
list does feel a bit thrown together.
yeah,
Um,
it's
but
definitely
I
leaning
don't think
fan
it's
heavy,
yeah.
but not
Um,
too far fetched.
Yeah, I think it was a good fake, but once you spend like 30 seconds thinking about it, you
Mm,
can see that it's a fake.
yes, agreed.
Um, And to wrap up the DC news for the week, Matt Reeves has confirmed that he is deep in the writing process of Batman 2, and that the Penguin
Yes.
TV show that's being done is going to lead directly into Batman 2.
Yes. Which I'm all for.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to know that it is being worked on. That means that he's not been told that he needs to worry about finding a new job.
Yeah.
Um,
We're about to have the DCU with a sub thing of BFU, Batfam Universe.
bring back DC's Black Label.
just
There,
just
there, there
it's
was there
just for
was
Batman though.
rumors. Yeah, there was rumors they were going to give Matt Reeves the keys to the castle. Essentially, let him run the Black Label and basically just go. You're going to do this alternate style where you can have a bit more fun, set the tone to the main character, and not worry about anything else. And you just do the films over there, and we'll do the more. I don't want to say mainstream because it makes it sound like these Batman films aren't mainstream, but we'll do the more big, expansive universe where we have to worry about all the little things.
Yeah, I think they will be careful though, because you like, as much as me and you can separate, a casual fan would probably start to get confused why there's two Batmans going on.
And I do think the branding would be a big part of that by making it very
Yeah.
clear that DC Black Label is not the DCU. I think that's why it's so important to have that as a label, as the DC Black Label. These films, you go watch any of them. It doesn't matter if you've seen any of the other ones. There you go. You want to go
Yeah.
watch a superhero film and not watch 24 hours of films before that? That's where you go. And there is a market for that now.
Yeah, there is.
People still want superhero films, but they don't want to have to spend 40 hours keeping up to date. Give them a Black Label.
Yeah.
Make
No.
Marvel make a red label, DC make a black label, and just have that be one-shot stories that have nothing to do. Different actors, different directors, try shit.
Yeah. No, I'm all for it. I really am. D&D.
I'm available for the Marvel red label stuff. Yes, this D&D drama. Fill me in.
So I've briefly looked into this, because I'm not fully understanding on it. So D&D is currently, they've had over the years several game systems, like they've done updates. So we had 1.5, then it was like 3.5e edition. It's different editions of the game rules, and they have done them every so often. The current system that most people play in modern day for D&D is 5e, 5th edition. It was a lot, I would say, my understanding is that it's a lot easier to get into and understand and more beginner friendly than 3.5. People have their opinions on which edition is better, as they do with any. It's like, oh, the old edition's a better system. But the big thing was 3.5 had a very, they have these things called an open, there was a games license with it. So essentially like supplementary stuff, where it like was very strict in 3.5. With 5e, they brought out this thing, a legal document called the open game license, which was essentially, you can produce supplementary books, you can do shows, content, blah, 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 like anything you want D&D, it's all on this open game license, as long as you're not using like direct D&D branding or direct content from like their book. Like,
Okay, so you can set stuff in our universe as long as you don't steal the stuff we're already doing.
essentially it was like, you can use our game rules and classes and stuff, but like in your book you can't call it a dungeon master, it has to just be a game master. You can't put the D&D logo on it or say it's a D&D book. It's a RPG role-playing game book, but
So it allowed people to design their own campaigns and sell that campaign without, as long as they weren't selling it as a D&D campaign.
Yes, it was a lot more open and free, and obviously content creators never had any worry, and you got the shows like Critical Role and
So,
Dimension
all the
20.
stuff that kept D&D alive for a long time.
Things that have boosted 5e and brought it into a lot bigger audience. Things like Critical Role and Dimension 20, these huge shows online have popularized, and Stranger Things has helped with that. And like, there's a lot of things that have like turned D&D from this like Satanist thing that kids do in their basement to, No, this is a fun thing that just anyone can play and enjoy.
Yeah.
They are currently in the process of making a new game system. It's that time again. They're like, oh, we want to move to something new, make adjustments. Basically, it's like their way of patching, buffing, nerfing stuff. Like rogues are ridiculously broken, so their way to nerf them is like updated the rules. So we're going to have D&D 1 is what it's going to be called. It's going to be the launch, like the game rule, D&D 1.
Okay, question just quickly.
Yeah.
Because this isn't an online game, surely if you don't like the changes they make, you just go, fuck you, I'm playing by this rule set.
Well, the drama comes in a different form. So this D&D 1's been worked on. There's been some like early like preview looks at stuff that they've talked about. Then there was a leak of a new D&D 1 game license, which was the legal document that goes along with it.
Okay,
That
I think I see where this is going.
D&D Beyond, I think, or it got leaked early, like an early preview look. It's not the official document or anything, but essentially it was like a lot more strict again. And it was something like people are free to make supplementary whatever, but it's like companies that make supplementary D&D stuff that earns over, it was something like 75 grand or like so it was like some big chunk of money. Like if you earn revenue over that, Wizards of the Coast gets a cut. So your likes of Critical Role, who if they put out a book, it sells thousands of copies and they're going to make a chunk of money. Wizards of the Coast want a cut because you're making money off their game system, essentially. Standard thing, business wants a cut of money when you're making money and they're not. The fandom is up in arms, and in my opinion, nothing official is out, and people are, as they do on the internet, running for the hills, screaming like this is the word. Like the people are jumping to conclusions, shouting fire before there's any smoke.
Thinking this is the death of D&D because
Yes.
the people making the original game have got greedy.
Yes, and people like Wizard of the Coast are going to ruin it. They're owned by Hasbro now, or like everyone needs to cancel their D&D Beyond subscription because that's owned by Wizard of the Coast. And it's like, oh, that's going to show them, and you can put a reason why. Because like, oh, all these shows like Critical Role and Dimension 20 are going to be the only ones because they pick to let them do them. Any other content creator is going to get copyright striked. People aren't going to be able to put out content for it anymore. Blah, 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 blah. There is a fan section, and I think until it's fully out, I don't think anyone can really, like, there's a lot of people going, I'm not making my decision until it's out and I actually see what's going on. Because people that have like D&D Beyond subscriptions use it for like, it gives you unlimited character sheets and stuff. So like they might have fuck tons of characters, or DMs might have a fuck ton of their campaign contents on there. And it's like, well, I'm not just going to cancel my subscription for the sake of a leaked document. I think the worry is
that could have been a one draft that's been amended a million times.
Yeah.
And actually, most of the stuff people are worried about has been clarified and isn't bad at all.
Yeah, I think I would like to hope that there is a fan content section and pretty much everything like the shows like Critical Role, Damage 20, anything you make on YouTube, any TikToks or anything like that, all is going to fall under fan content. I think the only time that something might be changing is the sake of, like, if Critical Role puts out a book and it goes on Kickstarter and it makes fucking millions of dollars, Wizards of the Coast just wants a cut. And it's like, I can kind of get that.
How much did Amazon fucking pay Critical Role to turn The Legend of Vox Machina into a show?
This is like, the thing.
Come on.
Well, it's like Critical Role did a Kickstarter that was one of the biggest animated Kickstarters, and they were like wanting funding for 10 episodes, and then Amazon was like, "Now we want to buy 20."
Yeah, when they saw the amount of people begging for it, they were like, "Fuck it, here's the money, we want it."
It's like, oh, you're sorting out production of it and doing all the studios. Like we just give you the money to put it on our platform. We'll have 20 episodes, sure. But yeah, I think it's things like that where Wizard of the Coast, rightly or wrongly so, want their cut. And fans are just worried that this old open freedom is going away because Hasbro wants money. It's all back to this big evil corporation is stealing our game. who knows?
So
Until it's
it's a
out.
little bit unclear at the minute. So I mean, we might end up going, oh, the concern was genuine.
Yeah.
Fuck them. But it could also be a case of no, they just don't want people doing multi-million-dollar deals for something that they deserve a cut of.
Yeah, it's like,
But fans go be fans and still enjoy it.
say it was like, you got to look at it like this. Say um Valorant was something you could take and I could make a third party DLC, which is like a bunch of maps, and then I sold that and everyone loved these maps and I made millions of pounds off of it. Riot would be like, hold up, the fuck, you're using our base game and selling it add on? We're not happy about that.
Well, I
Like,
mean, it's like maps you can buy for Minecraft. Like through the Bedrock version, you can buy maps and stuff.
yeah,
The creator gets money for that, but Microsoft take their percentage off of it
yeah, it's just
because we're
royalties.
giving you a legitimate marketplace to do it,
Yeah.
and you are selling stuff for our game. You get the bulk of the money because you've done the hard work. But if we didn't exist, you couldn't do it anyway.
The I think
As
the
long as it's
reason
not a ridiculous amount, and they don't go after tiny little creators with
mm,
like 5,000 subs who make like £10 off a video if they're lucky, and they're going, we want 50%, I don't think it's an issue.
no, and I think
Because let's not
also
forget,
Wizard of the
Critical Role
Coast.
makes a fuck ton of money.
Well, yeah, Wizard of the Coast also know that Critical Role brings them in huge amounts of money just through their fandom. So they're like, even if it was some strict thing, Critical Role and Dimension 20, who are the two biggest like D&D things, they'll just have some like private agreement license.
They'll
They'll
come in
get,
and yeah,
yeah, they'll just go, oh yeah, you're fine. You have this pass. Um, Obviously your standard content creators are worried, but also your standard content creators reading a legal document that they probably have no legal knowledge, and they're
yeah.
taking it for what bits they do understand, what bits they're seeing on TikTok where people love to just make content for the sake of making content, and yeah, everyone's a bit up in arms because yeah, it ain't gonna change. It's just people are getting funny. The thing I find funny is like it's that standard of like I'm gonna cancel my subscription because that's gonna make a point to make a change. Um, yeah, sure. Probably a lot of them will, and they'll hear you and they'll go, "Oh no, you still bought a 50 quid book though, didn't you?" So,
It'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on and see how it plays out. It would be interesting to see how it affects the D&D film that's coming out.
oh well, that's official Wizards of the Coast thing.
Yeah, no, so it'll be interesting to
Yeah,
see if that now gets
tanks. Because
tanks.
oh, I know what you mean. Yeah, people
Yeah,
boycott it or anything.
yeah.
See,
Because
this is the thing. I feel like D
I
and
won't be
D
boycotting that.
D and D
I
people
want
are
to go see
like
it.
it's less. It's sort of screw Wizards of the Coast, but more so screw Hasbro. And it's like it's that weird thing of like I imagine some of them like, I'm not gonna give them money, but actually I really want to watch a D&D film because I've been kind of wanting this for many years. So
Yeah,
I'm still gonna see it, but I'm gonna be like,
but yeah, it's definitely a wait and see situation. But
Oh,
it'll be an
100%.
interesting one to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Right,